Hello and welcome to QueerTWENTY, the cohort of 2023. QueerTWENTY is egomonk's annual flagship program where we celebrate 20 exceptional queer Indians. Today we have with us Praful Baweja. An award winning business storyteller, Praful actively works towards creating diverse, equitable, and inclusive spaces. With over 2 decades of experience, Praful has worked with firms like Times of India, Wizcraft, and Ticket Please. Praful is also the founder of 6 Degrees Diversity Council, an innovative forum that creates solutions for people of all abilities, genders, origins, ages, and sexualities. Without further ado, let's welcome Praful. Tell us about your coming out journey and experience, both personally and professionally. How has your identity as a queer and a neurodivergent shaped your interactions at workplaces?
So I came out in 2002 or something, about 20 years back. So it was a very different landscape as far as conversational zone anyway, be it at work or otherwise, about gender and sexuality. Um, and It was not through conversations, but you generally, uh, the way that you demarcated personal life versus professional life was the whole area, because everybody would be invited with spouses, everybody would be speaking about their family, and you're talking about family of choice in a certain manner, and an alternative lifestyle. um, so revealing that, slowly, slightly, so coming out was not um, a drastic one conversation coming out, right? Like, it was a very different approach at that point of time, where you would give sneak peek into your life to people, and if they don't like freak out, you let them in further, right? And that was more or less it. And by that point of time, I had just finished my college and I had started for a few jobs, etc. So it was not mm, very profession driven, right? And Coming out also takes a few years for you to be comfortable in your skin and to be speaking about it. This is a time when 377 was pretty much rampant. You had blackmails and bullying and a lot of uh, suicides and other cases all throughout. So you've seen bunch of friends go through it. Like, I have numbers in hundreds that people that I've seen affected by all of these things, and who are contemporaries. So you also take that in. You also take time. So coming out was a long drawn process. Though I was speaking on LGBT issues since 2002, 2003, wherever be it the opportunity. So it was easier on television than in person, surprisingly for me. And by, I think, 2010, 2011, by that point of time, and which is when I was 12, 13 years into my career journey, etc. So you're in a different trajectory. So being queer was pretty much handled, but neurodivergent piece, even I took a very long time to A, look into it, B, own it, C, navigate it, right? So it would have been mid 30s that I started seeking help, and it takes a long time for mental health diagnosis at times, and there is, you diagnose it at X, and then it turns out Y, and there's a long process. So I guess only by the time that I turned 40 that I could a come out to myself and others about it, and then, because of the sheer impact that it has uh, on personal life, professional did not count by then, because I was uh, out about my sexuality. That filters out most of the people and most of the problem areas, and they are like, is it your business? If it is not, I'm not answerable, and that filters out half the people. And when it is personal space, as far as mental health is concerned, then those conversations are also that much more intimate And most people want to know, why are you doing that conversation? It's exactly reverse. When you're speaking about both of these things put together, they would have been okay with me speaking about sexuality so that they know they have to hold some space. But mental health, why are you getting this intimate? Why are you getting this much in the face? Why are you subjecting us to this information? What are we supposed to do with this? Are you going to be suddenly acting different, and am I supposed to be at the receiving end of it? Is the kind of thing that goes on in people's head. But um, generally, it's for me to tell people that there will be redrafts because of my ADHD. There will be a certain number of reminders that might need to come for meetings or for things that are double booked. There might be deadlines that are renegotiated because of that, etc. So I started factoring that in into my work life and announcing it.
You've been involved with the Mumbai Pride Parade since its inception. How important are these acts of public visibility or acknowledgement for the LGBTQIA plus community? And what have been your insights from this experience?
So being involved in the pride was pretty much a part of me coming up, right? It was not something separate any which way. When we started, we had 800 people walking. If today 20,000 people walk and we have a month long celebration and so many things happening, it's just that so many people came together and so many organizations are willing to work, and it's that collective might that ends up. And we are also vilified for things not going according to what social media expects us to do, because just saying that I cancel X person is one thing, but connecting 300 workers and then getting 20,000 people on ground, that word to reach everybody, uh, is a learning drive on inclusion by itself. It is a big learning ground because there are so many different people from all kind of socioeconomic spaces, all kind of regions, all kind of things. Everybody comes together. We are a melting pot. So for me, masterclass in DI has been pride, right? It's lived. So for me to say that, mm, this is the learning ground for everybody. Come, let's let's learn from each other. This is a pure space, and we can create a better, you know, way of representing the communities, of speaking, have a language and understanding that is deeper. This is the space to do that. That's pride for me, largely.
What, in your opinion, are the first three steps for any organization to demonstrate its commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Listen, listen, and listen some more. What our systems don't have is a space for voices to be heard. How distinct, how deep, how prolonged is another story. That's the appetite we have to build for. And then inclusion will happen as an action of, as a result of this, because this will be catered to post its journey being completed. You'll have to strike and break that ice. Not that LGBT people don't exist within the system. We do. Invisible minority for some, just because their gender expression is such that it is visible, that then people are too curious and really poking at, please tell me, please tell me, please tell me, because I am curious, not because you're ready. So listen to the consent, whether it's been given. Listen to the space, whether the person would like it in a certain manner or no. Listen whether their issue is something else currently and gender sexuality is not the piece that they are willing to speak about. Maybe organizational issues somewhere else and it impacts the most people on fringes and margins, and LGBT folks come within that conversation zone. So most organizations, because listening will lead to acceptance, listening will lead to ownership, listening will lead to action as per acceptance and accountability. So listen as much as you can to everybody.
Very well said. um, what are the key challenges you have faced in promoting inclusivity, and how have you overcome them?
I haven't overcome them. That's the first step. Like, no matter, it's a never ending journey. One, right? Inclusion, we have so much systemic baggage that is there across, right? Each hurdle that you cross, there is a bigger obstacle. There is, and that's how, because today's world is so dynamic. You have so many newer things in business environments and technology, and it's Hydra. You chop one head, three other pop out. So if we do a school program, college program about bullying, cyberbullying happens. If you do something else happens. And there are a lot of ways in which you have to counter and fight discrimination and practices that are not favorable in DI spaces. Somebody who's working under you today and you're a team lead, for you to learn so much and spend that much time, maybe it is about, why am I not focusing on executive decisions, why am I spending so much time to learn about this person, their disability, or their reasonable accommodation as far as spousal benefit or XYZ is concerned, whatever, right? Like, different people come with different challenges. So to to just have that willingness to grow over whatever's keeping us comfortably small and limited, uh, that is the biggest challenge across the spectrum.
You were talking about school programs, and I'm just curious to know how the teachers respond to these issues, because personally, when I was in school, there was zero conversation about it. There was zero sensitization about it.
So there are two things. One, it's a very large landscape to change, right? Academic landscape is very large for us to change and say that it has changed or it has had, yeah, delta difference is there because of the same things today. uh, when somebody reaches college, they know they have a choice whether to bully somebody who's different or to be more sensible about it. Yeah, whether they operate from a certain programming or choose whatever else is being presented to them is up to them, right? So a lot of college students come with a questioning mindset because they have gone through puberty. They are speaking about the options and choices that others are making. But the younger ones, age appropriate conversations, when there are there, most of the teachers want to know, a, beyond POXO, because POXO is very rigid, and you don't want to do something that parents are not ready for, the kids are not ready for, etc. How you can do it within that framework, and how you can still um, get younger minds to think of things beyond just the act of sex, right? So most of the teachers, most of the people, when they come to us, they are generally looking for resources and ways in which we can do it. We do it via cookies at times. A gender person cookie, the gender bread exercise, which everybody does. If I'm doing it via cookie to assign gender or gender fluidity to it, at least the understanding of gender is assigned comes, right? And you do it in a manner which it is not about anatomy. You don't do it in a manner which it is about act, etc. You do it in age appropriate manner. So a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are speaking these things at homes. A lot of parents are going out of their way to prepare children for the world that is coming. Yet that might be like 5% of the population, 95% of the population goes by default. And the engagement of this 5% with 95 is what will bring that change. Earlier it would have been 1%. Like 10 years back, it would have been 1%. Today it's 5. Maybe 10 years down the line, it will be much more. But there is a long way to go.
As a marketing professional, what are some of the key reforms that you would suggest to make corporate spaces more inclusive for the queer community? And how do you approach marketing strategies to ensure that they are not only inclusive but also represent diverse identities?
So I will start reverse with representation first, then I'll go to whatever else, because you have best practices across the DI spectrum. When you take something which is a practice in disability spaces and it becomes a great thing for gender, when you have some practice in gender spaces which becomes a great practice for sexuality or age or whatever that you're countering. So in DI, a lot of borrowed learnings happen. Uh, Intersectionality not only on paper, for corporate to see that everybody has multiple identities, everybody has a lot of dimensions to them, nuance is needed. Founder of Black Lives Matter has said identity based politics and identity based conversations are on their way out because you can't be unidimensional, right? You have to factor in each level of equity that comes in, right? For corporate to at least have an appetite for that and say that I might be able to do this, nothing about me without me. One commitment that we will have somebody in the room when we are speaking about a community, or when we are deciding about a community, or when we are doing anything about a community, as far as policy, as far as organizing an initiative XYZ is concerned. We will at least pick up a phone and ask somebody whose life it directly impacts, right? That is the holy grail as far as corporate is concerned.
What advice would you give to queer founders and entrepreneurs to shape inclusive workspaces and to pursue advocacy within their professional roles? And if you could also recommend some resources or networks that people who are looking to engage in similar initiatives can go through.
So we started 6 Degrees in 2017 as India's first LGBTQIA business networking forum, right? We started meeting monthly, realized that when we made it LGBTQIA plus plus and plus plus was allies, that plus plus was 70% of turnout every month. People from community used to be 30% and not committed to growth in the manner that, because we don't have role models who are out there. We don't have people who are actively claiming their space. So, one, lots of role models that are there beyond Insta. Please look at them in real life. Maybe they're sitting in a very boring banking job, not with DI labels, because most of the people look for DI labels. DI labels don't add to person's capabilities. They are one more aspect. So if somebody is great at coding, they are great at uh, adapting before everybody else to headless commerce or whatever be the thing, you know that LGBT people do take risks. They do have appetite. They do have that hunger to prove. And we have a lot of people. So like QueerTWENTY is there, there are a lot of achievers lists that are there. Top 100 uh, folks, lots of people, lots of awards out there. Please shadow people, absolutely be shameless in shadowing people. Not don't stalk them, but shadow their work. Engage in dialogue. Most of us are happy to share. If I have 5 case studies that nobody's looked at for 10 years, I'm happy to put it out there on public platforms, on the groups that I moderate, etc., for people to actually use it. Right? If there are some old notes, if there are some people who are in my phone book, I'm happy to connect anybody, everybody like that. And a lot of us do. A lot of us who like to pay it forward, who like to support in whatever capacity, will be happier guiding people for their professional journey rather than, you know, introductions because you want to be, you want to create a reel with somebody, or you want to dress up a certain way and get a free pass for certain space. I'll be happy to, for work, for learning. Most of us are more than glad to do that. So you can approach um, approach us at any given point of time. And there's a group called Teenagers, which is of people over 50, uh, queer men over 50. There is a group called Speaker, which is of parents of LGBT folks. And each of them would love to look out for you all. Each of them would love to speak from their life experience. There is something called Rainbow Angels. That's a group of angel investors who have smaller pockets, maybe, but they have large hearts, so they can maybe give you seed capital, if not working capital, right? So buy that machine, get that 20,000, get that 50,000, go off ground, go out there with that. So people can give you that kind of little push as well from community. So it might not always be Shark Tank and the value investment that you see as very glamorous. It can come in small ways and doors can open.
Describe your coming out experience in one word.
Awesome.
What queer stereotype annoys you the most?
One size fits all.
What is one thing that you would like to see change in your lifetime when it comes to the LGBTQ community?
We accept each other within the community.
Pick one, drag show or queer poetry slam.
Poetry slam. Sorry, I'm a writer.
One line guidance for the queers who are working in corporate spaces.
Be you, stay awesome.
Thank you so much for taking out the time to do this with us. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for holding the space.